Happy Resurrection Day.
All right.
How's everybody? Good, good. I just shared with Ayo, I said, I am so happy to be here with you all, but I'm also missing my community. So we are accomplishing two things at once. She's going to record it so I can upload it on YouTube, and then they can have an experience of me on Easter Sunday as well.
Oh,
Yeah?
yes.
So living God's way. I have actually decided to focus in on awakening the Christ within you, and that is living God's way, because today, around the world, there's a celebration of the resurrection. And so I want to talk about what that means to us in our philosophy. I discovered in preparing for this talk that there is actually a term that means to awaken to the Christ within, the God within. And that term is entheogen. Entheogen. Meaning, the end is within. Theo, of course, is God. And gen relates to the intelligence of the universe that first appeared in Genesis. So it literally translates into creating or generating the Christ within. Deep within the life source of each and every woman and man, there's a limitless spring of wisdom, of power, magnificence. And this inner space is connected to the one energy source that I usually refer to as God. The other name is good. And when we are in tune with our inherent God or Christ self, our lives are transformed into a limitless, joyful, and prosperous experience. That's what I believe. However, childhood conditioning, socioeconomic influences are impressionable, aren't they?
Yep.
And our life experiences, they leave us with an impression also. And what tends to happen is our life experiences, the socio-cultural influences, our childhood programming, they mute our connection between our inner, all-knowing Christ self and our physical selves. So awakening to the Christ within us is a spiritual journey. And I'm really happy that I'm able to, even though it's in short, intermittent time periods, I am able to walk a part of this spiritual journey with all of you. Awakening to the Christ within is anchored in the philosophy of deep reverence for the Most High God, for the divine laws and for the spark of divinity within all of us. It's personal, it's intimate, and it's individual. So being conscious of who we are as part of the whole, part of everything that exists, and yet still the whole, our divinity, begins this Christ mind awakening. This is what Ernest Holmes refers to as the indivisible whole. The realization of the unity of God and man. And he says that is our truth. It's indivisible. There is no place where God ends and we begin. We are all made of the God stuff, the God substance that's back of everything. The universe, the cosmos, and even those places that we in our humanness have not become aware of as yet. He goes on to say that we simply need a greater realization of this truth. And only by penetrating deeper and deeper into our own divine nature and moving deeper and deeper into the infinite will we awaken to the indwelling Christ. Philippians 2:5 says, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." This is referring to the mind of good, the mind of God, the only mind there is, the supreme intelligence of everything. And I'm going to suggest that you all read from the Science of Mind textbook, pages 365 to 368. That section is on finding the Christ. And in reading that, what Ernest Holmes is talking about is all of us can be revealers of truth who live in close contact with the indwelling God. And he says it redundantly in different ways so that you get it. But that's really the essence of what is there. So if we follow the instructions of Jesus, our brother, our Wayshore, the enlightened one, as I like to refer to him, we'll come to the exact same consciousness that Jesus had. The Christ consciousness. And I'm doing foundations right now. And I love to do foundations. Reason being is I am reminded of the principles and the truths to which I have dedicated my life. And so we're at week 8, but I started reading ahead in preparation for our week 10 class. And I said, this is so perfect. Because the core concept, number 10, is Christ consciousness. And so the way that it works within us says this: when we partake of the nature of the Christ, to the degree that the cosmic Christ is recognized and revealed through us, then we too can become the Christ. What does that mean? That means that we take on the nature of the Christ. And what some people don't realize is, in other traditions, more traditional, they'll say things like, in the name of. Well, the name of means nature of. So to take on the nature of the Christ. And what was his nature and what did he teach? He basically taught two things: love and forgiveness. That's basically what his ministry was all about. And that love was unconditional. That love was non-judgmental. That love was all-inclusive. That love was accepting of everyone regardless of their circumstance or their condition in life. He also taught us forgiveness. And yesterday, of course, in Foundations, the focus was on forgiveness. And so we engaged in a forgiveness practice. And for some of us, the forgiveness was of ourselves. For others, it was for big events that have taken place in history, that is repeating itself currently. So it was different for each of us, but we have the opportunity to think about the thing and to think about our own release of that thing and our attachment to any energetic associated with being harmed or perceived that some injustice has been done to us. We have the opportunity every time we perceive some injustice or we perceive that someone has harmed us to reframe that, to think about that differently. We have the opportunity to choose higher. And so what does that mean, to choose higher? That means that we endeavor to see what is ours to see in that situation. And each time we change our mind, you all, and we put on the mind of the Christ, it's very easy to forgive the other And in so doing, we liberate ourselves. And that's the important thing. Love and forgiveness. Those were the messages of Jesus the Christ. Everything else was a social construct. So how do we put on the mind of the Christ and live from that place? How do we reinvent ourselves in this disenchanted world? The answer lies within our own being. It's within every human. It's accessible to all. If only we give ourselves permission to awaken the divine that resides within. So some of the ways that I do this is through affirmations and reciting the Lord's Prayer. However, I've made some changes to the Lord's Prayer. You're probably saying, blasphemy! No. It's just a bunch of words if I don't have a personal relationship with those words. And so what I have done is I have substituted I and my for us and our. I've been doing this for the past few years, and I've had answers to questions, solutions to problems revealed to me with a quickness. Exodus 3:14 and 15 reads, "And Elohim said unto Moses, I am that I am." The I am in this passage is representing our oneness, our unification with the Most High. And through this representative authority, this messenger to Moses is to enable us to use the name of the divine creator whenever there's a need, whenever we want that intimacy, whenever we need to be reminded that we are not separate, but rather we are one. Use the name of the divine in that way. I am that I am is an affirmation